This is a digital SAT reading and writing test on foundations of craft and structure. 10 questions, so let's get started. Following text is from Booth Tarkington's 1921 novel, Alice Adams. Mrs. Adams had always been fond of vases, she said, and every year her husband's Christmas present to her was a vase of one sort or another, whatever the clerk showed him, marked at about $12 or $14. As used in the text, what does the word marked most nearly mean? Well, $12 or $14 gotta be priced. All right. Two texts. Based on the text, which text 1, text 2 would most likely agree. All right, so what do they both agree on? Crop rotation is a vital practice for sustainable architecture. By rotating different crops in and out of a given field, farmers can avoid depleting the soil of essential nutrients. Crop rotation also prevents pests and diseases from becoming established in one area, which minimizes the need for harmful pesticides. While it may take a bit more planning and effort, the long-term benefits of crop rotation are clear. Text 2, while the environmental and agricultural benefits of crop rotation are well documented, well, I don't think we even need to read the rest of it. He's going to make the case, he or she is going to make the case that it's easier said than done. However, they agree that there are environmental and agricultural benefits, which is choice A. The following text is excerpted from The Red Badge of Courage, an 1895 novel by Stephen Crane. In the text, a young Civil War soldier named Henry reflects on the aftermath of fighting a battle. The procession of weary soldiers became a bedraggled train, despondent and muttering, marching with churning effort in a trough of liquid brown mud under a low, wretched sky. Yet the youth smiled, for he saw that the world was a world for him, though many discovered it to be made of curses and walking sticks. He had rid himself of the red sickness of battle. The sultry nightmare was in the past. He had been an animal blistered and sweating in the heat and pain of war. He turned now with great thirst to images of tranquil skies, fresh meadows, cool brooks, an existence of soft and eternal peace. Which choice describes the function of the underlined sentence? Contrasts Henry's emotional state with that of the other soldiers. Yeah, it does. Highlights the physical, emotional toll. No. Shift in Henry's perception of the natural world. Kind of. Sense of exhaustion. No. No. He's emphasizes that he's smiling. Well, shift in his perception of the natural world. That sentence is it follows the description of the soldiers as despondent, muttering, marching with churning effort. He's smiling, though many, the world was a world for him, though many discovered it to be made of curses and walking sticks. So definitely a contrast, and we've got to go A. All right, let's look at the question. Based on the text, what would Lisa Trevor in text 2 most likely say about the interpretation presented in the underlined portion of text 1? All right, underlined portion. Well, you probably don't need to read the entire text 1. Just kind of open your eyes a little bit wider, drink it in here. We're looking at ceramic vessels in pre-Inca Peru, so detailed that scholars have interpreted facial markings to represent scars and other skin irregularities. Okay, on to text 2. Hyper-realistic portrayals may inadvertently disregard the creativity of the object's creators. The sculptors could free their imagination and explore more abstract concepts. So, She would probably say that those are not necessarily scars and skin irregularities. They may just be, artistic license. So let's see. Markings on depictions of human faces are not necessarily intended to portray. Yeah, that looks right. Let's look at some of the others here. Some vessels damaged. No. C. No. No. D. So yeah, A is the correct answer. Svalbard Global Seed Vault, established in 2008 on a remote Norwegian island in the Arctic. Svalbard archipelago currently stores over 1 million frozen seed samples from almost every country on Earth, serving as a backup for the world's crop diversity. Its location was chosen as, probably don't need to read the rest of it, but it's, yes, I mean, it's a safeguard. So let's go with C. All right, let's look at the question. What choice best states the function of the underlined portion in the text as a whole? Researchers have found a nearly 164,000-year-old molar from a member of the archaic human species known as Denisovans in a cave in Laos, suggesting that Denisovans lived in a wider range of environments than indicated by earlier evidence. Before the discovery, Denisovans were thought to have lived only at high altitudes in relatively cold climates in what are now Russia and China. But the discovery of the tooth in Laos suggests they may have lived at low altitudes in relatively warm climates in Southeast Asia as well. All right. Defines a term. No, it doesn't define a term. Emphasizes the main goal of the research. No, that wasn't really the goal of the research. It provides context that clarifies the significance. Yes, it does. It provides context, and D is not right. So let's go with C. All right, looking at the question, which choice best describes a difference in how the author of text 1 and the author of text 2 view the evidence for the formation of the moon? Text 1, most scientists agree that the moon was likely formed after a collision between Earth and a large planet named Theia. This collision likely created a huge debris field made up of material from both Earth and Theia. Based on models of this event, scientists believe that the moon was formed from this debris over the course of thousands of years. Text 2, researchers from NASA Ames Research Center used a computer to model how the moon could have formed. Although simulations of the moon's formation have been done in the past, the team from NASA ran simulations that were much more detailed. They found that the formation of the moon was likely not a slow process that took many years. Maybe it just took a few hours. Okay, so that's pretty clear. Author text 1 more slowly than 2. Yes. Anything else look good here? Existence of Theia is B. No. Moon surface. C is no. D. Occurred earlier. No, it's just slower. Faster or slower is the difference. All right, looking at the question, which choice best describes the function of the underlined sentence? Historians Tia Miles and Roy E. Finkenbein have both documented the assistance indigenous peoples gave to black freedom seekers leaving the South before the U.S. Civil War. Much of the historical evidence of this help comes from indigenous oral traditions and from autobiographies written by the freedom seekers. One such narrative is Jermaine Logan's autobiography, which tells about how Anishinaabe Potawatomi villagers offered him food, lodging, and directions during his 1835 journey from Tennessee to Canada. What is the function of the underlined sentence? Well, it's an example of what the historians are talking about. Is that word in here somewhere? C, it provides an example of an autobiography that describes how, okay, yeah. Definitely an example. Let's go with that. Okay, looking at the question, which choice completes the text with the most logical and precise word or phrase. Visual artist Gabriella Alemán states that the bold colors of comics, pop art, and Latinx culture, I don't know if there's a better way to pronounce that, have always fascinated her. This passion for the rich history and colors of her Latinx community translates into the blank artwork. So it's got to be some kind of synonym for bold and rich color. So unknown, reserved, definite, vivid. Of the four options, vivid is definitely the best. Let's go with that. All right. All right. Question is, which choice best states the main purpose of the text? In most building demolitions, the building materials are destroyed and sent to landfills. City officials in Portland, Oregon wanted to reduce this waste. The officials passed a law requiring demolition companies to deconstruct some buildings. Instead, deconstruction involves carefully taking buildings apart piece by piece. Damage to the materials is avoided so that they can be reused in new constructions. A 2019 study found that 27% of materials from deconstructions in Portland were able to be reused. Remaining materials were processed for recycling instead of going to a landfill. What is the main purpose? All right, well, let's see. To explain an effort made by Portland to reduce demolition waste and some results of that effort. That seems like a good choice. B, to discuss laws on other cities. No, it doesn't talk about other cities. C, popular support. No, it doesn't say anything about popular support. D, to argue that deconstruction is not effective. No, so it's got to be A.